Okay, Kimberly, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Can you share with me or share with everybody what are your challenges right now in your business that you would like help with?
I'm restarting again after having a really, really rough couple of years. I got pregnant with my third kid, and that was pretty hard. And then she was a hard newborn to 1 year old. And then just before she turned 1 in 2018, my husband got diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer. So we had all of that we had to deal with, the chemo, the radiation, surgery, chemo, radiation again, and he just finished up treatment this past November.
Okay.
So with all of that's happened, I haven't really done much in my business as I had originally planned. The only thing that I did try to make sure to do was at least maintain the relationships, personal relationships I had with as many of my downline as I could.
Okay.
But nothing else. And now it's 3 years later, and I have really no idea how to get started again. And then we're not completely in the clear of my husband's cancer. That won't happen for a while. So, it could come back and he could get more treatments. I need to be able to continue to grow my business while helping him through whatever might come. And then our daughter has cystic fibrosis. So if she ends up in the hospital, I need to be able to keep my business going while I'm helping her through her health challenges.
Okay, I'm just writing all this down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how much you know about me or if you follow me, but empathy is my number 33 talent. I'm number 34. So for this conversation, that will be my gift to you. I'm not going to, if it's all right with you, I'm not going to get caught up in the emotions of that. I'm just going to try to find you a way out.
That's okay. Empathy is my number 1, so I very easily get caught up in the emotions.
I just don't want you to think I am like a mean, heartless person when I just go, okay, moving on.
No, that's kind of what I need, because I feel very stuck in the emotion of everything, and I don't know how to get myself out and moving. So
okay. So can you tell me what are your goals, like what are your goals for this business from an income perspective? I don't want to make assumptions, but it sounds like with your husband's situation, your ability to gain income is important, but also pulls you away. So can you just give me a little bit of clarity, like in the priority, like out of all your responsibilities, where in the priority level is this?
It's like it's in my top 5, I guess, because I also homeschool. I need it to be in my top priority because I do need it to be able to at least match his income that he brings in. So for doTERRA, that would be about gold level.
Okay. So your top 5 priorities. I'm going to tell you something that you are not going to like to hear right now.
Okay.
There is this great quote that really helped me perform better in my business. And it is, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none.
Okay.
So
right.
this might be a really short coaching session, or it might be a real good cry fest, long coaching session, because do you feel like you just can't get ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're actually set up so you can't get ahead. I don't think that's fake. So do you feel like badly that you can't get ahead? Okay.
Yes.
I actually think you have too much on your plate to be able to get ahead. Because if we look at this really timeless principle of if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none, and you start to rank these responsibilities in your life, right? So number 1 responsibility, I'm going to put as daughter, right? I mean, I think I'm a mom, so I'd probably be like, husband, you've got some other people, right? But my daughter, like, that's my daughter. I mean, maybe that's mean again. But if I, right, like, so we have daughter, we have husband, right? And then if you have homeschool and your other two kids, that puts doTERRA or your network marketing business is number 5. And if we are, as humans, really capable of doing 3 priorities, then you're kind of stuck, right? Like if we went to go time block your schedule. So one of the things I'd written down is, how can we time block your schedule? Well, you were laughing.
No, I'm trying not to cry.
Okay, if you drink water, it'll stop your tears. So if this gets too crazy, we won't use the recording. But I think that honestly, you're probably going to have to look at, like there's this great question for women, how do you do it all? And the answer is, do you know the answer?
You can't.
You can't. And so when, a couple of the notes I wrote down, just by the way you had posed me that question, was what priority level is your business, right? And to grow it to that level, it would need to be 3 or higher. And so even if you did a simple time blocking schedule, like just a simple exercise, like I've done this on a very much smaller scale. So I'll use myself as an example to pull the emotion out of it. So if I carry one-on-one clients, right? We have a membership group, and then I'm in charge of creating content. And so I have clients from this company and this company and this company saying, hey, can you make some custom content? Well, for every month, I can only choose one company to make custom content for, because when I go to time block my schedule, right, and I put in my clients and I put in things like this, this bit of content, and I put in, right, the help that my responsibilities in our marketing plan, even though I have a business partner that carries much of the load, I only have maybe 3 hours a week to create new stuff. So when I look at the last 3 months, I wrote a book. Okay. What did I not do? Create custom content. Because if you say yes to one thing, that you're saying no to another. And that isn't a like, Tasha, you're not good enough. Why can't you get your crap together? Where do you start? Like, none of that is real. It's literally when I would go in and I'd block off, okay, here's when I'm with my clients. So that could be your homeschool, right? I'm going to put all those people in. Okay, now I'm going to put in my other meetings. That could be caring for the people in your family who are close to you, right? And I put all that stuff in, and then the next thing I know, I'm at 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., right? I toss in some exercise because otherwise I'll lose my mind. I might have to eat. I don't know.
Maybe a little.
Right? And I might have to go to my kids' hockey game so they don't I'm not a great mom, but I need to at least do something. Otherwise, I'm going to have to spend a lot in therapy. So when I put all that in, right, and I put in a couple hours a day to write my book, there was nothing else that literally would fit. So the first thing I had to do was stop feeling badly about that, like guilty, right? Yeah. So, when I have this client for this huge company, it's like, come on, I'm ready. Like, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, and I don't feel bad about it. Or I can't feel bad about it because I literally just can't. And I said, okay, March 1st or February 1st is when I'm going to start looking at this, right? We're a little bit behind schedule, so I just stayed in communication, right? And that's what I had to do. And say, okay, well, I'm going to hop on it next week, which is actually in my schedule with time that I can hop on it next week. And then I'll be able to do a much better job. And so with the big things that you have, the daily activities that you can do, well, let me take a step back because I do have some things that might be able to help, even though I just dropped that huge bomb on you. may feel like you
Yeah.
need to cry, but I just want to check in and ask you what you're thinking.
I'm I'm thinking yes. I feel a little validated with the whole yes, it is a lot, and I'm not crazy for being as stuck as I am.
Yep.
I guess it's not an excuse I'm making up in my mind.
Mm.
But I really, really, really want to grow my business. I want something of mine, if that makes any sense.
100%.
So I'm really right now, the wheels are turning and trying to think of how I can do it, how I can rearrange things to make doTERRA a little bit of a, in the top 3 at least.
Yeah. Well, any recommendation I would give on that would be completely overstepping. But I think it's really hard, right? Like if you have, C word 1, C word 2, and homeschool, like that isn't an excuse at all. And now what we have to look at, productivity, you have a productivity issue ultimately, right? I can't produce enough. Well, there are pieces of productivity that are mental, and there are pieces of productivity that are skill-based. So I'll just give you an example. Before our call, I had to reschedule. So it was 1:15, and that's not enough time for me to create anything. And I'm sitting there with this whole list of things, 10 things that are on my create list, but not enough time to complete any of them. So then I ended up stuck and in this like overwhelm loop.
Yeah.
To where I didn't start working on anything until 15 minutes before our call. So then so the amount of work I did in 15 minutes, I could have been doing for 45 minutes if my brain started functioning. So this is why I think it's important to address the feelings that you have, like this is just an excuse, Kimberly, get your crap together, Kimberly, like that. Those are just lies. And if you can set that down, your brain will actually be able to produce something. Like I can't produce anything when I'm in massive imposter syndrome. Because, right, if my head is saying like, you suck and people are going to find out you're a fraud and what are you even thinking, I can't create. So the first thing I have to do is make sure that piece is sorted. So I think the validation is important. Now, if you really want something that's yours, you're thinking, how can I rearrange things? Right? It is going to be like, okay, so you use curveballs a lot. So are you a baseball fan?
What?
Are you a baseball fan then?
Yeah, our family is, yeah. My husband especially.
Okay, great. So you're not dealing with a pitcher who sometimes pitches fastballs and sometimes gives you curveballs. You are hitting against a knuckleball pitcher.
Yeah.
Which is a different hitting technique than if you're switching from fastball to curveballs.
Okay.
Right? So if you had to hit against someone who only threw knuckleballs, you would move your hands, you would change your stance, right? You'd probably hunch a little lower instead of being a straight up.
Yeah.
Like you would change the way your stance was.
Yes.
Because you knew you weren't going from 90 miles an hour to an 80 mile an hour curveball. You know every pitch is a knuckleball and it can go anywhere. Right? So you grip the bat a little bit lighter, right? There's all these techniques to hitting when you know that's going to happen all the time.
Okay.
Right? So the first thing is you have to look at what game am I playing? You are not getting an occasional curveball.
No.
And if you understand the game that you are playing, and like 90% of my audience is like, I'm a mom, what's a knuckleball? Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone. A knuckleball is a type of pitch that just is a cuckoo crazy. Look it up on Google. It'll make a lot of sense. And so if you know the rules of the game you're playing, you'll play them differently.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
So when you're playing against someone who throws, so I was a softball player in high school, I was pretty good.
That's why okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's actually technically my best sport, even though it's not what I played in college and it's not what I play now. So when you're hitting against someone that throws really fast, you're trying actually to hit it harder and you're trying to get techniques. If you're hitting against someone who pitches very slow, right, you're probably going for base hits instead of home runs.
Okay.
Because you have to have too much power. You don't have the velocity, right, of a fastball to meet the velocity of your swing to hit a home run, right? You're going to be going for singles if you're pitching against a knuckleball pitcher, not home runs.
Okay.
So what you have to do is you have to focus on what are the singles I can hit on a weekly basis, as opposed to how do I hit home runs to get to where I want to play in my game.
I have to write it down, otherwise I will forget.
No, you're good.
That makes so much more sense.
Cool.
It feels manageable.
Good.
Like my brain is like starting to turn. I'm like, wait, no, I can't. Okay. I think, yeah.
Yep. The other thing that I wrote down, even when you sent me your challenge, is that you are asking for daily activities, but I'm going to ask you an honest question. Do you work daily?
Do I work?
In your network marketing business, do you work daily? So why would you ask for daily activities?
Because that's what I've been told that I need to do.
Okay. But if you look at your actual schedule, is every single day marked as a network marketing workday?
I technically have put in, no, wait, I don't think so. I don't think I did do the time block, but
you did it with daily activities, which is probably unreasonable for your schedule.
Did what?
Did you do it in daily time to work your business? And how often have you been able to execute that?
None lately.
Okay. So I had this come up with one of my one-on-one clients that I just started coaching with. So to give you some encouragement, this happens at all levels. And so she has another job where she works 3 days a week. And so she said a very similar thing. What are my daily activities? And I said, blank, client's name. Do you work in your business? You already work 3 days. So you don't have daily activities. You have activities, I'll give you 6 days a week of work. So you have 3 days, not 6 days. So you can't actually block your time to do a little bit of each thing each day, because you're, for lack of a better word, just half-assing everything each day. So what we did instead is we took, what is the weekly outcome? So what I'm going to do is just like give you examples, right? So let's say your weekly outcome, you're just trying to get your business going. You probably want to meet with 2 potential customers. With your situation, I would probably recommend one-on-ones. They're easier to schedule. And if that changes over time, then that changes over time. So you can do, if you did 2 one-on-ones and 1 retention appointment or wellness consult, that would probably be a good start per week, right? That'd be about 5 enrollments a month plus some retention, and that would be a great place to start. Well, are you going to do 1 appointment every day? No, you don't need to if you're going to do 2. Right? So then you can say, okay, well, what I'm going to do is what days do I have reinforcements? Because really, in order to reach the goal I just said, you only need 3 3-hour chunks.
Okay. I have that on some days.
All right. So now instead of saying, okay, well, I'm going to throw away homeschooling, which, I mean, considering your situation, right? Like if the kids were in school, that would change your entire situation, but I'm not going to get in that conversation. But you can see like how that shifts everything. Sometimes we don't make new decisions based on new information. We stick with old things. Like I noticed that happening in my family where my husband, he quit his job because I was really sick. And then I stopped being sick and then he was still here. And we're like, wait a second. Like we have super aggressive financial goals. I'm not sick anymore. Why are you here? Right. And it was just based on a different scenario, right? That decision was made in a different world and we were sticking to it as if it were permanent. So I would look at some of those, but maybe you can get reinforcements on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, right? Saturday can be your appointment day, right? Tuesday can be when you reach out to people and try to schedule your appointments on Saturday. And Thursday is when you can reach out and just connect with maybe 10 previous customers and a couple of people on your team. If you did that every week, as 3 weeks out of a month, what do you think? Would that be progress?
Yeah, it'd be consistent progress. It wouldn't be as fast as I may want, but it would be reasonable progress.
Well, I mean, and if it's a good week, you could make contingencies, right? So you could say a normal week, I need to do almost like a low, mid, high type goal. So sometimes when we do goal setting, we'll say low is 5 enrollments, mid is 8, high is 12. So you can have low, mid, high. They're really, really good psychologically. So, because if you just say, well, I'd like to enroll 10 people a month because I have these aggressive goals. Well, if you do an 8, you lost. So it's basically degrees of winning. So I call the low goal, at least you didn't suck goal, and you're making progress, right? The mid goal is, okay, this is I accomplished exactly what I wanted to. And the high goal is if everything was perfect.
The stars aligned.
Yeah. And so you're probably setting goals, stars aligned goals, which is why you feel disappointed by, I don't know, the universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I would shift your goals to a low, mid, and high.
Okay.
And almost set up 3 different schedules that you can choose. What I was thinking as I was prepping for our call is like, Kimberly needs a flow chart.
Yes.
Right? So you can't hear this if this is audio. So I'll leave if you guys are listening to this on audio, you think we're going to be okay to air this? Like I know it's pretty emotional. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. I mean, I know it's going to encourage someone. So if you're listening to this on audio and you want this flow chart that I'm going to make with Kimberly, I'll leave you guys a link in the show notes and you can get this flow chart and I'll try to explain it as we go. So hang with me, audio peeps. Okay. So we have a flow chart here and the question is, did the ish hit the fan this week? Right? And we have kind of 3 options. Yes. No. Everything is awesome. It's weird. And we have sort of. All right, so we have 3 different scenarios. How does that sound?
This sounds good.
Okay. So if the crap hit the fan this week, so for those of you guys listening to audio, we have a box at the top. We have 3 different scenarios. Okay. So over here, if the crap hit the fan, yes, right? We probably need another, well, let's start with everything is awesome. It's weird. So we're going to ask another question of, do I need a rest?
Resting.
Okay, if it's a yes or no. Well, because you have a productivity issue. So you know the best way to increase your productivity is sleep, right?
No, actually, no. I just try to keep going.
Oh, so here's an interesting neuroscience thing for you. I studied neuroscience in college. Your memory consolidates during REM sleep. So if you don't sleep enough, you won't remember anything.
That would explain a lot.
So college students who pull all-nighters actually are doing so to their detriment, because when you have REM sleep, it consolidates whatever you've learned. And so when college students study and then go straight to their test, they haven't consolidated their memory. So what I used to do is stay up late, go to bed at like 2, get at least 5 hours of sleep, get at least 2 REM cycles. And that I would remember more than if I went straight through, because of the way the brain works.
Oh, so sleep is good.
Oh, yeah, sleep is good. Sleep, exercise, and meditation increase productivity more than we want. Like, I always feel like I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that how those things make me 3 times as fast at knowledge work, because you're in the knowledge business, not the physical business. So this wouldn't be a problem if you're just moving boxes, but you're in the knowledge business. You have to be able to ask questions, listen, learn, teach.
Oh.
Sometimes people will make fun of me. They're like, you go to bed at what time? So I go to bed at 9. I wake up at 5:30. And as an entrepreneur, people think that's funny. And I said, I have way too much work to not sleep that much. Right? Because my clients expect me to be sharp.
That's like 7 hours. That's good.
That's 8.5.
8.5. Okay, I can't math.
Yeah, but I used to go to bed at 8 and wake up at 5:30.
I wish
Right?
I could.
It was a good 9 hours of sleep. And when you think, okay, mom of 2 kids with a business, like, that's not normal, and kind of would be like, really? And I said, yes, because I need my mind. So if I need to rest, we use right? Then our goal is just the normal ones, right? So schedule 3 appointments.
Okay.
Right? 2 new, 1 retention, and hopefully that'll start to switch into some business overviews. And if you don't need to rest, then schedule 4 appointments, right? Or schedule 5. See that?
Yeah.
Right? And this is in a perfect week. Everything is awesome. Okay. Now, if everything hit the fan, right, then we say, okay, I'm going to schedule 1 appointment. I'm going to do forward progress. And then your normal, right, just a normal week, right, I'm going to schedule 3 appointments, right, and I'm going to do outreach to 10 previous customers. How are you? Right. And I'm going to do, on sort of weeks, I'm going to do professional development. However, on the yes weeks, crap did hit the fan. Maybe you're sitting in a hospital. So maybe you actually 2x your professional development.
Yeah, I can do that sitting in a hospital.
Right, because you need to be there.
Yeah.
You can't speak. So if you can see over the course of a month, let's say, 1 horrible week, 2 normal weeks, 1 awesome week, right? During the bad week, you do all your professional development during that time. And you execute the rest of the month. And so that way you're still depositing into your business at the end of the month, you have the same outcomes no matter what. But in your situation, a daily activity plan probably isn't going to work.
Well, it hasn't.
So it's taking it a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Right. So even for me, I mean, way different, but still hopefully helpful. I don't record 1 podcast a week. That's a hard workflow for me. It's easier for me to just schedule, right? Like for me to just sit down and write one day and just record 5 or 6 in a row the next day.
Oh.
And then it's done for a month, right? So by the time we finish this, I will be done with February and March's podcasts completely.
Okay.
So that I don't need to worry about any of that until the middle of March. I have a whole month where I can create other stuff because I got ahead.
I like that. That actually would suit the way my life has been and going a lot better, is when we do have the downtime and everything's going good.
Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at success based on what I do daily.
Yeah.
But could you look at success based on what you do over 3 months?
Yeah, I can switch my thinking to that.
I mean, I think that's the only way you can. It's the only way you'll be able to grow your business because you need your head in the game.
Yes, I do. It's a lot for me. I tend to be kind of resistant to change. So this is a lot of changing.
You mean your family situation or this model?
The family situation, I've kind of gotten used to it constantly changing, but a different way of thinking about growing my business and things like that. It's different than everything else I'd always been taught or had even read or learned about. So, but
Well,
this seems, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There was a delay. Please, you go.
This actually seems like it will work with whatever life has in store for me next, and it's something I can do, and I won't feel like a complete failure when I do have crappy weeks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If things happen with my husband or my daughter.
Right. Well, and what I was going to say is, I said that it's contrary to everything you've been taught, but there is no handbook for there's no time management speech from stage for what you're talking about.
No, there isn't. And that's been a little bit frustrating. So I wasn't even sure if you would be able to help, but you have. So.
Well, your situation is not as abnormal as you think.
It isn't, because it feels like it is.
Well, right, because all the people that are running into this are just like giving up. They don't know. They feel the same way that you do.
I can see why they would give up. Yeah.
And they give up, or they're just struggling in silence. Because where would you ask questions like where is there a forum for this question, right? There isn't. I mean, there is. I own one, but other than that, like your upline, and I think your upline is also one of our clients.
Yes, yes, they are.
You on, but the challenge is any upline is not going to have the repetition with these types of scenarios to be able to know, here's how I handle it. And I think what's helpful, I remember, we have a lot of people that are clients of ours in Texas. And so with the first big hurricane that came through there, I got a note like, how do I even look at this? And so what I advised her, and so it's not the exact same, right? Husband and kid and homeschool. But I mean, I've coached clients who are going through their own cancer treatment.
Oh.
And trying to grow their business because they're single moms with kids going through their own stage 3. Like, talk about heavy, right?
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be able to care for someone who's going through that, but it's another to be like, oh crap, I'm leaving my kids alone.
Mm-hmm.
I better freaking make 6 figures with this residual business.
Yeah.
Right? You see, so we've worked through that. People, their homes have been devastated by, tornadoes and hurricanes and all that. And so the analogy I like to use is your life is like a table. And so you have 4 different legs on your table. One might be your faith leg. One might be your friends and family leg. One is I'll call it the creation leg, but in your stage, it's going to be your business or your work. It doesn't always have to be work, but it's this place where we're all drawn to create something that is ours.
Yeah.
And then we have like our health, maybe. So you can knock one leg out, and your table will still stand. It'll be a little shaky, but it'll still stay on 3. But if you allow a second leg to be knocked out, your table will likely fall. So if your family and friends' table is knocked out, you have to make sure that the other 3 legs, your faith, your health, and your creation, are strong enough to hold up your entire table. What most people do is they're like, oh my gosh, the table, like it's shaky, and then they'll lose their faith and now the table comes down. Or they'll sacrifice their health and the table falls down. Or they'll sacrifice their business and the table falls down. Because now you've now started to lose joy in your life because all you're doing, you're in the suck all day. You don't have like one thing that is going well. And we have to take responsibility and ownership for, I got to make sure at least something is going well, or my whole table is going to tip over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously conceptual, but I think that's why it is really, really critical that you look at how you can rearrange your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned a number 1, empathy talent. Do you mind if I give you a little bit of insight on that one?
Sure.
Harness your network marketing toward how they might feel if they didn't have this product in their home. So harness your empathy towards their hopelessness, for lack of a better term, and it'll likely trigger your best self. Like this, I have a moral obligation to do my outreach because these people, right, that don't have this product
mm-hmm.
or don't have the education to be able to further their transformation, they don't know. And I feel badly for them.
Yeah.
So I need to help them. And so I need to go do a little bit. I need to go schedule my 2 appointments. What do you think?
I'm thinking actually have a couple of people.
A couple of people you could reach out to after this call and schedule 2 appointments with?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you take that same talent and you meet with people and you say, I don't know if you know what my family situation is, so I'm only able to meet with 2 to 3 people a week, but I care about you and I care about the people you care about. So would it be helpful for you if you connect me with some of the people you care about? I'll put them at the top of my list, I promise.
Oh, referrals. I could word it like that and not feel guilty or salesy or anything.
Right. Well, because it's true.
It is.
And then that will keep you in a consistent flow. Ta-da! So how do we do?
Good. Lots to think about and things I can do. You've helped a lot more. I honestly wasn't sure if you were going to be able to or not, because I really thought my situation was super unique and you would have no idea and you'd be like, I don't know.
Sorry to disappoint you.
I'm so happy to be disappointed. So.
Well, what do you think was most useful for you in our conversation?
The flow chart. The flow chart and changing it to the basing success off of a 3-month period versus a daily thing or even a weekly thing. And then the way you explained how my family's life is more, it's like the pitcher is just throwing knuckleballs all the time and not switching it up, and how I need to just change what I've been doing for what the pitcher is throwing at us.
Yeah. If they bring in a relief pitcher and they're just throwing fastballs, that's way easier.
Yeah, it would be. I hope we get a new pitcher soon, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your vulnerability. Holy cow. If I were in that situation, I would not go on camera. So I think, Kimberly, you are super brave and you are a great role model to your family for leaning into this and doing the best with what you can. So you will have to make sure that we know how this goes.
Okay, I will keep you guys updated.
Okay, cool. So say bye to everyone.
Bye.